Hey, and welcome to another episode of Rankum. This is going to be a fun one. We're going to be talking about the top 12 animated movies of the 2010s, and I've got a great panel of people here to talk about them. Over to this side, we've got Robert Kastner. Robert, how's it going?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm ready to talk about those kinds of films that were hand drawn or more than likely animated on a computer.
Um, Next up, we've got Haley. Haley, how's it going?
Hey, I really love animated movies, so I was very excited when I found out I was going to be on this.
Next up, we've got JTH. JTH, how's it going?
Going pretty good. Also love animated films, which also makes this a pleasure and a pain because then you have to think of 12 out of the hundreds that you actually like in this decade.
And last but not least, we've got Zedius. Zedius, how's it going?
It's going good, man. It's going good. Like everybody else, I love animated films. Also, it was kind of hard just think about my favorite ones for 2000 for the 2010s, but I think I got a list. I got a list.
Yeah. But how this works is we're going to go around in a panel and everyone's going to nominate a movie that they think belongs on a top 12 list, and then we'll make a short list, and at the end we rank the short list based on what gets nominated. A rule I brought in for this year is that if someone hasn't seen a movie, that's not going to count as a no as it has in the past. It's going to be the majority of the people who have seen the movie, which helps it get on the list. There's been lots of movies, with the one exception of someone brings up a movie that no one else has seen, then it won't make the list because I'm not going to be that person. But with that, I'm going to go to Robert. Robert, what was the first movie you're going to bring up?
I think this is pretty obvious because I think everybody universally agrees, and it's obviously one that gets a chance to make it into a lot of artwork and into what it is that people, anytime they're trying to do a list of ranking, probably ends up being as part of the animated process. But first one I'll throw out just occurred a couple years ago. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse would be what I choose.
Haley, what do you have to say about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse?
I'm just going to say I'm going to be mad at anyone who says no if anyone here says no, because this is as close to a perfect movie as you can get. There's so many details. People are still picking apart to this day as if it was a brand new movie. And it's so beautifully done, and just the attention to detail is immaculate. And I love it so much.
JTH, what do you say about Spider-Verse?
Easy yes for me as well. Pretty much a perfect movie from beginning to end. Just the animation also is just really stunning to look at. So yeah, easy yes for me as well.
Zedius, what do you say about Spider-Verse?
I was late to the party when it came to seeing this movie, but man, when I saw it, I loved it. Like 100% is no spoilers here. It's near the top of my list. Only maybe 1 or 2 above it, and so this is definitely a yes for me.
Yeah, this is going to be an absolute yes for me as well. This is one I'd written out my list once the topic was set. Then a few days later, I was talking to someone about anime movies, and we were talking about Spider-Verse for some reason. I was like, hang on, to go to my list. I realized I actually forgot to write it down for some reason, but I added it on my list, and yeah, it's making this because it wouldn't have mattered anyway. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is the first one that makes the list. Haley, what is the first movie you're going to throw out there?
This is going to be another obvious pick. And just to paint the picture a little bit, my best friend came over when this movie came out, and she's like, you have to see this movie. It's so great. Let's watch it together. You're going to enjoy it. And I was like, great. And so we watched it together, and I wasn't expecting it to be as sad as it was. And then suddenly, at the very end of the movie, I am ugly crying. And I was just mystified by how beautiful this movie was in terms of animation and storytelling. It's the movie Coco. This is probably my favorite Pixar movie. And it's so beautiful in every way possible. I love this movie so much.
JTH, what do you say about Coco?
Unfortunately, I've only seen it once, so I haven't been able to really grasp the aura of what Coco is. I remember really liking it, but I'm sure with a repeat viewings, I would like it a lot more. So because I've only seen it once, I haven't been able to put it high enough on a tier where I can give this a yes. So unfortunately, it's a no for me.
Zedius, what do you say about Coco?
This is one of those moments where I'm glad we've confined it to the 2010s, because if I was talking about overall anime movies, maybe not in my top 10, but when it comes to this past decade, when I saw this movie, this is another one of those movies that it kind of snuck up on me, and kind of like Haley said, it got very heartfelt towards the end. I did think there was some things I'm like, okay, I called that out early in the beginning of the movie, but when that one scene happens, like I'm man enough to say that I cried a little bit. So yes, this is definitely a yes for me.
Yeah, this 2010s was a really great year for Pixar movies in general. Like, there's so many good ones in there. There's probably going to be a few that makes this list. Specifically, I do like Coco, but I'm gonna have to say no because I will explain. But it's all on Robert if it makes a list.
Great.
Robert, don't let me
I
down.
like being
Don't let
in
me
that.
down.
So much like Haley, so I went a little bit late to this as well. And I remember looking at my wife and I was like, I'm not going to cry. I can't do this in public. Even if it's at the dollar theaters and there's not that many people there, I can't do it. And there's something about when Pixar hits on traditional aspects or aspects of culture that you're not quite as used to. You've seen it like wrapped up historically, or you've seen it wrapped in certain packages, but when it's something that hits close to home and something that's done with familial relationships like that, it's I'm a softie with that. So as the deciding vote, I am going to put a yes stamp on Coco because I love it so much. It is like a top 3, top 4 Pixar film for me overall.
But yeah, I've been called out by Peter in the chat. I will explain like at the end, but there is a reason I said no to Coco. It's just because I like a few other Pixar movies more, and one of them might come up later. JTH, what is your next movie you're going to bring up?
This is another movie that kind of caught me off guard when it came out. Came out in 2014. Kind of started a brand new franchise of animated films. I'm going to go with the Lego Movie. When this movie came out, when I remember seeing the trailers, I was like, okay, they're going to do the whole Toy Story thing. What happens when the people aren't around? What do the Legos do? But then when I actually saw the movie, I was like, wait, they're actually doing an actual story on this Lego world, and it was just so beautifully done. Like, it was a style of animation we had seen in like video games, but never on the actual big screen, and it just floors you when you actually saw the animation actually done well. And the twist in the third act, which I won't reveal for people that haven't seen it yet, it really just, for me as a kid at heart, it was weird because I actually I felt like the kid more than I did the other thing. I just said I wouldn't reveal it, and then I happily revealed it. Stupid me. But yeah, it's just a really heartfelt moment that kind of puts the whole movie together, while all in all showing a great story and just phenomenal effects and all that, and great characters that you can embrace. So yeah, I'm going to throw out the Lego Movie.
Zedius, what do you say about the Lego Movie?
This is a hard one for me, even though I like the movie a lot, but there's some others on my list that I'm hoping that will be on there that other people would go for. But if this is one of those ones, this is the first movie I'm willing to compromise because it did make my list, and I'll just see how far it gets in the end. But I'm gonna say yes to the Lego Movie because it was a very creative movie. It was 10 times better than I expected it to be, and so it's a yes for me.
Oh, this is an absolute yes to me. Lego Movie is great. I don't know what the Oscars were smoking. Really didn't nominate this for best animated. But yeah, Lego Movie absolutely makes this list. Robert, what would you have said about Lego Movie?
I feel like I'm kind of I feel like a yes person, that I have no discerning taste, apparently, because I just want to say yes to everything. But I mean, this is anybody who's ever felt like they were never good enough, or felt like they wanted to be special, but people told them to kind of stay in their lane. This packages it up in such a beautifully kind of linear type of story, even though there's crazy things going on around it. Again, there's a thing about familial relationships that we didn't want to go too much into, but again, I'm a sucker for that. And it dives into that. And what does it mean to be creative? What does it mean to be a person who likes to build or can build versus someone who is. What's the difference between creating and building something? And I like that aspect of it too. So it's a yes for me, obviously.
And Haley, what would you have said about the Lego Movie?
So some of my favorite animated movies are movies that have themes and messages that are just as poignant for adults to consume just as much as children. And I think this is one of those movies that does just that. Plus, like, the humor is it's one of those things where kids can enjoy it and laugh, adults can enjoy it and laugh. I'm really sad that this movie kind of got overshadowed by Frozen because it came out around the same time. And I'm gonna have to give it a yes because I would be an awful person if I said no.
Yeah. But yeah, Zedius, we go to you for your first nomination.
Okay, first nomination. Let me just say this. I'm going to feel like this is a personal attack against the Z-Man if this gets a no. But I'm just going to set this up with a little backstory. I remember when the first film came out in 1995. Like, I loved that movie. The second one, not so much. But when this third movie came out, I was a grown... We can cuss on the show, right? Just,
I don't have a language beeper, so yes, you
well, I'm
can.
just gonna say I was a grown ass adult. Like, not sure that's really too much of a cuss word. I was a grown ass adult when this movie came out, 2010, and at that end, I have never felt more horror in an animated movie than I did in this one. I'm like, are they really about to kill these? I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, go see it. You should have seen this movie already. First, no, it's no secret. It's Toy Story 3. I was so terrified when they were going down into that. When they were linking up and going down to that fire, and when Andy didn't want to give away Woody, again, just crying. The wire words were just falling. So, Toy Story 3.
Yeah, I'm on record on saying that I do prefer the fourth one over this one, but this one is still a great movie. I'm still saying yes to it. This is one of those rare franchises in which all the movies in it are good, especially when it comes to animated movies. There's another franchise that's bound to come up later that is quite similar, so I'm saying yes to Toy Story 3. Robert, what do you say about Toy Story 3?
These nominations, man, and I say that with all like sincerity that it's great. I was a kid when the first one came out, kind of like Zadius, and that one holds a more special place in me. Obviously, it's a larger marker of achievement because of what it did and what it meant for animation from that point for the next 25 years and plus. But this is my second favorite of the four, just because of it talks about growing up more. I mean, we sort of skirted around it a bit in 1 and 2, but it really like puts what it's like to grow up and how relationships can change in regards to what it means to grow up, which is important, especially even though I was a full adult at that time, I still felt like I was a kid. So I'm gonna say yes to this too. I'm sorry, I don't say no to things, apparently.
Haley, what do you say about Toy Story 3?
I'm gonna have a hot take and say that this franchise should have ended here. This was the perfect send-off for the franchise, and putting another movie afterwards just felt like a slap in the face. And this is definitely like a good textbook kind of guide to how to age a franchise, because all of us grew up to those movies and they hit our demographics each time a new one came out. And I think that is so fantastic. Like Zadius, I was also really emotional from the end of that movie. I'm going to have to say yes.
Um, JTH, what do you say about Toy Story 3?
Unlike Robert Parker, I love this movie. I think Robert might be the only person that doesn't like this movie. So, yes, it would have been an easy yes for me as well.
But yeah, it's on to me. And I'm going to bring up one that I watched. I can't remember when I actually watched it for the first time, but this is one that I know Jacoby has brought up before in various things, and it has actually just been mentioned in the chat too. I'm bringing up Your Name. Um, this is one of those anime movies which I didn't know what to expect because I knew it wasn't a Studio Ghibli movie. I knew it was a different company. But this is a really interesting body swap movie with some various twists, which I won't spoil here. Because if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But this is a marvelous movie to watch, and yeah, Robert, what do you say about Your Name?
So so we abstain if we have not seen it.
If you haven't
Unfortunately,
seen it, just haven't seen it.
okay, I have not seen it. It's not one of the anime ones that was on my list that I was thinking about, so I have to tap out on that one.
Haley, what do you say about Your Name?
I'm gonna have to go with exactly what Robert Katzler said.
JDH, have you seen Your Name?
Unfortunately, I have to go with the majority consensus as well.
Zedius, have you seen Your Name?
I'm gonna go with him, her, and him. Sorry, man, I haven't seen it, but I've heard about this movie recently, so it'll be in my queue sooner or later. Sorry, man.
I tried.
Yeah.
But Robert, if they would go back to you for your next nomination.
I'm sorry that I am a pleb of sorts, and I don't watch cool movies like
We
that.
can all
I don't
be
want to
friends
speak for
together.
everybody. Yeah, I don't want to speak for everybody. I'm just a noob in this realm. My next movie I'm going to throw out. I'm sure it's down on people's lists, but as someone who grew up as a kid in the virtual realm, as someone who you grow up by TV, but I grew up by video games. I feel like every time I watch this, and it still hits me, again, certain themes about what it means to outlive your usefulness, or if you think you've outlived your usefulness, can you grant and gain additional utility by finding your place in the world outside of what it is that people put in a box for you? And obviously it spawned a sequel that did very well, but I have to go with the original here, 2012's Wreck-It Ralph.
Haley, what do you say about Wreck-It Ralph?
This movie was adorable. Made me very happy, and I feel weird saying yes to everything because it makes me feel like I'm just chilling for all these movies. But like, we're just picking great ones so far, so I'm gonna have to say yes for Wreck-It Ralph.
JTH, what do you say about Wreck-It Ralph?
It's at the very tail end of my top 12, but the fact that I have it on there is inclined for me to say yes as well, because it seems weird that it would come up halfway through the nominations, but it would have been one that I would have brought up eventually too. So I would have to say yes as well.
Zedius, what do you say about Wreck-It Ralph?
Well, I'm glad that I don't have. I'm not the deciding factor of it. I do like this movie a lot, and it's another one I've recently seen. However, I do like the sequel more, and just because it's already, I'll say no, but I like the movie, so I have no problem with it being on the list.
Yeah, I mean this is one that I would have totally said yes to as well. I love Wreck-It Ralph, and I'm glad it's on there. I love the sequel as well, and I don't ever will saying that the sequel can't make it on if someone wants to try their luck. But Haley, we go back to you for your next nomination.
So I'm stuck between three that I want to pick right now, and I'm thinking. Okay, I want to talk about this one. So this movie, I'm specifically putting this on here for the kind of shock factor and that this movie gave me, because I was watching it just thinking it was just going to be a movie, and the animation was so beautiful. It's some of my favorite animation in any animated movie, and that is the movie Rango. I was very impressed with this movie, and I was not expecting to be as impressed as I was. And so for that reason, I'm putting it on this list because definitely deserves recognition.
JTH, what do you say about Rango?
I liked Rango. It has been a while since I have seen it, so I'm trying to think of everything that I remember. I enjoyed it, but it just because it came out so early in this decade, or last decade. I can't. It doesn't stand up to me as much. I just haven't seen it as much, so unfortunately, I have to say no.
Zedius, what do you say about Rango?
I'm somewhat similar to JTH. I remember when I saw this movie, I liked it. And this is one of those ones, because if I'm not mistaken, Johnny Depp was Rango. It was one of those movies that was a lot better than I expected, and I liked it. But it's not one that I've had to, I've wanted to see again and again. So for that, I'll have to say no.
Yeah, this is one that I actually haven't seen. I've actually tried to find it to watch, especially this week, but it was on a streaming service at one stage. It must have been taken off at some before I needed to watch it. So yeah, I haven't seen it. Robert, what would you have said about Rango?
So Johnny Depp, Gore Verbinski, they make hits for the most part. Obviously, there's a few Pirates movies in there that don't really hit. Haley and I were in a faction, and I don't want to cause dissension or anything like that. I think if this category was qualified, and I think this is kind of echoed by everybody else in the panel, if it was like most surprising animated movies of the 2010s, I think you can make a case for it. I think of the high-end, high-brow type of animated movies that came out in the 2010s. I just think it kind of hits in the middle for that. Not saying it's bad. It was kind of, shocking how good the animation was, how good the story was, how you could churn something in a Western like that amongst animals that, are part of that sort of landscape. How could that come together and create, a modern Western? But I just don't think it should be on the list per se.
And
I won't cause any faction dissension for that.
JDH, what is your next nomination?
All right, so kind of like my previous nomination in the Lego movie, this was another movie that when they showed the trailers, it looked like it was going to be one type of movie, and then it kind of turned into something completely different when we saw it. I'm going to nominate Zootopia, and this is a movie that some people have soured on over the years, and I can certainly understand where those people are coming from. But to me, there is a really deep message that I felt this movie has always had, and just that it's okay to accept who you are and what you want to be, and if you want to diversify and not forgo interpretation and depiction, it's all right to fight status quo and to fight the narrative. And the characters in this all kind of represented that. That's one of the reasons why I love this movie so much, just because the characters they're so relatable. You can understand what their motive, why they do what they do, and why they say what they say. And it was just, and overall, it was a great message that I still watch several times every year, and I still enjoy it a whole lot. So yeah, I'm going to go with the Zootopia.
Zedius, what do you say about Zootopia?
I do think this is a great movie. When it came out, Little Judy and my boy Nick, I'll say yes to this because it's on my list as well. Yeah, I like it. I'll say yeah.
Yeah, this is one I do enjoy Zootopia. I just don't love it that much. But I'm going to give it a slight no, but I won't be upset if it makes the list either. Robert, what do you say about Zootopia?
I feel like I'm gonna copy over to you, like you put me in the copy machine, and we're doing carbon copy things here. I liked it when it came out. When I started to think on it and watch it a couple additional times, I've fallen out of love with it now and then. I mean, I agree with what JTH is saying, but the main theme of that movie is racism is bad, which I think we all knew, but they just want to make sure that we're hit on the head with it. And I like my animated movies just to be a little more subtle than that, just a teensy bit. So I'm gonna do just a very slight no on Zootopia.
Haley, it's going to be on you. What do you say about Zootopia?
So this is I'm gonna call back to something I said earlier, where it's like things with themes and messages that hit just as hard for adults as it does for kids. And I think with this movie, the message just kind of falls flat because it doesn't really have much of a call to action that other movies do. And for that reason, I don't think it should be in the top 12. But it's a great movie, and I definitely think it's a wonderful, absolutely amazing movie for children to watch. And it's a good movie for adults to watch as well. I just don't think it's top 12 material.
Zedius, what is your next nomination?
Okay, this is going to be one that a movie I quite enjoy. And a lot of movies to me, when it comes to anime, I guess maybe at the age of 33, I can be surprised at how well it is. And there was not that much press when this movie came out. So when I actually saw, because if I'm not mistaken, around this time, the movie Moana, Trolls, and then this movie came out around the same time, and I like this movie than the other two more than I like the other two. So when it comes to the movie Sing, I like it a lot. I thought it had a great story, and I'm not ashamed to say I love Taron Egerton's version of "I'm Still Standing" better than Elton John's version of "I'm Still Standing." Sorry. Sing is my nomination.
But yeah, Sing is one of those movies that I watched and slightly enjoyed. But I'm sorry, but it's not that good. It's fine. But yeah. Robert, what do you say about Sing?
I've seen trailers for it, but I have not actually seen this movie because I've heard people's opinions on it, and from what I had viewed and read about, I kind of didn't have an interest in watching it, honestly. So I don't have any opinion.
Haley,
what do you say about Sing?
So this is funny because this is one of my partner's favorite animated movies of the 2010s. She was like, "You better put this on," but I haven't seen it. So, and I want to say like I'll vouch for her and say yes, but I can't. So I'm just gonna say I haven't seen it.
JDH, what do you say about Sing?
It's a fun movie. That's it. Pretty much all I can say. It just kind of like what I felt with Lego and Zootopia, like characters that I can embrace and get behind. This movie just doesn't have that, and so it just doesn't have the connectability to it. So, yeah, it would have been a no for me as well.
It's a very fun movie.
All right, it's on me. And for my next nomination, I'm going to bring up. I can't do the Peanuts adult voice. I'm bringing up the Peanuts movie. I've always enjoyed when it comes to the Peanuts, and this movie is one of those ones that came out of nowhere. Like I came as like, I don't know if this is going to be good. I went in, I enjoyed it. I think it's good. I think it belongs on here. Robert, what do you say about the Peanuts movie?
Only thing I'll say is that I just can't separate that movie from all the holiday specials of Peanuts and what I used to read in the newspaper. And what I mean by that is it's just like I can't process the idea of that being on this list when I know all those things that came before it are things that touched me more than this. So I'm going to say no.
Haley, what do you say about the Peanuts movie?
So this kind of like this is that whole like uncanny valley because it's like it's too similar, like Rob was saying, to like the themes and everything going on with like the holiday specials, but also just like the animation was just really jarring to me, especially with a series that has had such a unique animation for decades, and altering it, even if it was just like like they kept the style but it was like a little like updated, it just didn't sit right with me. So I'm gonna have to say no, and that was just enough to like just take me out of it.
JTH, what do you say about Peanuts movie?
Peanuts was interesting because Peanuts came around that era where they started redoing all the reboots of all the old TV shows like Smurfs, which was a complete disaster, every single one of them. So I don't know what it was about Peanuts, but when Peanuts came out, because I felt so deprived of all these cartoons that I loved. When I saw the Peanuts movie, I absolutely loved it. So I loved the character. It felt like I was watching, all the old stuff. For some people that was the negative because it just didn't feel like it lived up to the bar. But for me, I just loved all the characters in general. So I would give it a yes.
Zedius, it's on you now.
Great. But
No pressure.
I just want to let you know I want to give you the method to my decision right now, Malcolm. I just rearranged my list by taking away the movies that I had up in my list that we voted no to, and it's just number 14, not number 12. So I'm gonna say no, man. I'm sorry.
That's all good.
Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, honestly.
But with that, Robert, we go to you for your next nomination.
So round one was a bunch of hits, and round two was a bunch of misses, I guess. I guess is how we'll categorize this. So let's see if we can get back on track with round three. I'm throwing this one out because I like movies, especially when it's done in an animated realm, where they take concepts, constructs that you're used to, tropes, and then it turns it on its head. So this movie was what you would consider, what was people were thinking like, it's a superhero movie. But it's not. It's a supervillain movie. It's a supervillain movie. What do we do when the thing that we've been fighting against our whole lives, what if we get what we want? And then our purpose just disappears. How do we continue on? Do we take for granted what we had the whole time? So I'm going to throw out, with this great cast of voice actors, I'm going to throw out the movie Megamind.
Haley, what do you say about Megamind?
So I have a running joke with one of my closest friends that I'm basically Megamind, and it really just boils down to I have a big forehead. So I feel weird not giving this a yes. Also, just I really love a good, well-animated movie with a packed cast and like a good trope flip. So I'm gonna give this a yes. I mean, it's lower on the list for me, but it's still on the list.
JTH, what do you say about Megamind?
Unfortunately, like Coco and Rango, it's a movie I've only seen once. I have not been able to get back and rewatch it. I remember really, really loving it when I did. So it hurts me that I haven't been able to get a chance to see it again. Someone like myself, I don't have any of the streaming stuff, so I can't just watch it at will. So it's a matter of just finding it when I can get it. So I remember liking it, but it's not high enough up that I can give it a yes on one view.
Zedius, what do you say about Megamind?
Glad it doesn't come down to me again. I actually haven't seen Megamind. This is one of those ones that like slipped my view when it came out, and I've never gone back to watch it. Nothing has ever encouraged me to watch it, so I had to abstain from this one.
Yeah, Megamind is one that I rewatched when we did the DreamWorks animated movies a few wee while ago, and this is just one that just still fell flat when I watched it. It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong. It's just one that I'm not a big fan of. So yeah, I'm going to say no as well. There we go to Haley for the next nomination.
So this movie was already mentioned, but it wasn't put on the list yet, and I'm a little surprised that no one's picked it yet. So I'm pulling it out now. Yeah, like Moana. Why hasn't anyone talked about this movie yet? It's another stunningly animated movie. The music is absolutely wonderful. Before COVID hit, I was working with kids, and this was one of the songs that I could hear that didn't drive me up a wall. A couple of the songs from this soundtrack. And it's a breath of fresh air to watch. So it's got to be on this list, and it's got to be high up on this list.
Yeah. Also, there's an echo somewhere. It's not too distracting, but yeah, it's not. But yeah, there is an echo somewhere. But JDH, what do you say about Moana?
I'll keep it brief about Moana. I'll give it a yes. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thaddeus, what do you say about Moana?
Let me make sure I get. No, that's to my window. This one, of course, Moana's going up there. Yeah, definitely yes for Moana.
Yeah, Moana's an easy yes for me as well. Haley said everything need to be said about this. Plus, it's got a great New Zealand actor in Timu Morrison in this, so it's a plus. Robert, what would you have said about Moana?
It also has Jermaine Clement as a crab. So what's so bad about that? No, again, if it's not a movie that it takes something and puts it in a different capacity, it's about opening your eyes to something culturally significant that you're not as aware of, and shining a light on it, and that's what Moana does. So yeah, it's an easy guess.
All right, JJ, we go back to you for your next nomination.
All right, I'm going to go with I'm torn between two. I'll throw this one out. This is another movie that was alluded to that probably would come up eventually, so I'm going to bring it up now. I'm going to go with Inside Out. This was another movie that kind of hit the heartstrings very hard for lots of adults and kids alike. Had a really good message, a really good cast. Just blown away by the performance of Lewis Black as Anger for the people that had never seen his routine. It was just made for that part, and it was just a wonderful story, beginning, middle, and end. It just wonderful. So I'm going to go with the Inside Out.
Zedius, what do you say about Inside Out?
Lewis Black was great in this movie. It's going to be an easy yes for me. And again, this might be the range theme for the night, but if y'all know the scene I'm talking about, tears, they were running again. I'm a bit soft. I might be Braun up here, but I'm a bit soft at heart. So yeah, this is definitely yes.
Yeah, Inside Out is definitely a yes for me. This is one of the Pixar movies that broke me. We're making lists. I could have put all Pixar movies, to be honest, but I only sort of picked a couple to put on my list, which sadly Coco had. That's why I said no to Coco. It's like there's a few Pixar movies I want for sure on here, and this is definitely one of them. Robert, what would you say about Inside Out?
It's like the Office Pixar movie because you have Mindy Kaling and you have Phyllis Smith. You have Phyllis. It's great. She got work after The Office. It's fantastic. No, you don't want to lose. What made, even if you're growing up, you don't want to lose that special part of yourself, that kid within you, right? That's what a lot of these movies are about. You don't want to lose the kid within you, even despite everything that's going on. Your environment shaping who the person you're supposed to be. So Inside Out is a clear top tier type of animated movie. And
Haley, what would you say about Inside Out?
I was very late to the party with this movie, but that being said, Pete Docter, he can really do no wrong. He can tackle some really wild subjects and make it good enough for a kid's movie, and also hit it out of the park. Whatever. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. And he's just yes, that's all I'm gonna say. Yes.
But if that Inside Out makes the list, we go to Zedius for the next nomination.
Okay, I'm a little bit stuck because right now I'm not sure which one I should pick. But I'm gonna go with the one that doesn't have a relative already on the list, and I'll say I'll fight for this movie because this is one of those movies where I saw the first one. I thought the first one was good. I actually felt more connected to the sequel. And despite the fact that elementals and things with the elements were involved in it, I've always been a fan of like TV shows or movies whenever it talks about elemental powers. I just thought Frozen 2 was a better movie and more enjoyable movie than Frozen. So Frozen 2 is my nomination.
Yeah, this is one of those ones. I love both Frozen and Frozen 2 equally. And I was going to say yes to whichever one came up first. So I do love Frozen 2. I'm going to say yes to Frozen 2. Robert, what do you say about Frozen 2?
Into the unknown. Into the unknown. Sorry, that song, I actually get more annoyed by that song now, my wife and I, than Let It Go. Isn't that interesting how that turns out? No, I mean, I like this movie enough, but I don't like it enough to rank it, I guess is what I'll say. I like it as a film, but I don't like it enough to rank it. So it's going to be a no from me.
Haley, what
So
do you
this
say about
movie,
Frozen 2?
oddly enough, I have this movie, and I've had this movie for how long has it been now? I've had this movie for several months, and I still haven't watched it. So I don't know what to say about that. I just know I feel the same way with Rob when it comes to Into the Unknown.
JDH, what would you have said about Frozen 2? Or what do you say about Frozen 2, rather?
God, it just. I would never have thought that the sequel would have come up before the original. That's the thing that kind of eats at me because I like both a lot. I think the first one. I like the first one a little bit more, but I do like Frozen 2 a lot as well. You know what? Just for my man Zadius, because he's a brother from another mother, I'm going to give it a yes.
Wouldn't it be interesting if 2 makes it and 1 does not? Won't that be something?
That would be something.
Stranger things do happen on Rankum, so.
Yeah.
But with that, it's on to me. And it's why I'm glad that JDH brought up Inside Out because I would have brought it up here, but now I'm going to bring up one of my guilty pleasure animated movies I really enjoy. We've got a lot of kid-friendly animated movies on here. We don't really have a R-rated movie about the joys of supermarkets.
Oh, God.
I'm talking about Sausage Party. This is the Disney movie made for adults, but made by Disney animators. With the song by Alan Menken. This is just a really fun movie. And I'm one of those people that I like a lot of bad movies. I'm not ashamed to admit it. But so I thought Sausage Party was a lot of fun, and I do legitimately think it belongs on this list. Robert, what do you say about Sausage Party?
You know, this isn't on my list because I didn't want to be the one to bring it up. Not that I'm ashamed. It's just I just didn't think we would get to this point. I'm surprised we got to this point so quickly. Yeah, I mean, Alan Menken does the music to an R-rated movie about hot dogs, buns, falafels, all, find in love with each other carnally in the biblical sense. Isn't that great? And we get to talk about real-world things like, the fight of what's going on in Palestine, but we're doing it with falafels and I forget what else we were doing it with. But you know what I mean. It's we got Nick Kroll as a douche. He's a little douche and he gets juiced up. It's not to like about that. You know what? I'm gonna get on board with this, even though it wasn't on the list. We're gonna do an audible, and I'm gonna say yes.
Haley, what do you say about Sausage Party?
This is a movie I've actively avoided. I don't want to open up my refrigerator and be a little traumatized, so I just don't. I don't feel like watching it. I haven't seen it.
JDH, what do you say about Sausage Party?
Of all the people that I thought was going to nominate this, you were the last one that I thought would bring it up, and that's over me. And I don't even like this movie. Yeah, it's not a favorite of mine. I got to give it a no.
Zedius, what do you say about Sausage Party?
The fact that you brought this up makes my heart so happy. Uh, I say it because I forgot about this movie, and that's not a slight against it, but now that I'm thinking of it, I'm like, oh my god, this movie is wild, and I'm looking at my list. I'm saying, well, I'd be okay with if one of these didn't make it, and Sacha Party got in there instead. And just because of the damn shock factor of it, and this movie again is almost a very traumatizing movie to watch, but it's so hilarious. I'm gonna say former spot. I'm going to say sure. Why the hell not?
It did. I can't believe
This
it.
movie.
That was a
My God.
process.
It was. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot about this movie.
I can see you go through the 5 stages of grief just making that decision.
Never
Can't
thought I'd
believe
see you writing this one down.
It's the little engine that couldn't.
But with that, go to Robert.
Boy, I don't think we're going to be able to, pull out of that tailspin, probably. I imagine that's going to come up quite a bit in the interwebs.
Oh yeah.
So the list is starting to dwindle a little bit for me, just a little bit. Obviously, we got a whole decade here. But I'm going to go with a movie smack dab in the middle. Obviously it's a Disney movie, and it's hitting on all the things that Disney was doing at the time, what all the other movies, as animated movies, were trying to do at the time. But again, looking at things in a culturally significant, culturally different from what it is that I'm used to. How it blends the idea of family with superhero drama. I'm going to nominate Big Hero 6.
Haley, what do you say about Big Hero 6?
I had a big problem with this movie, and it had nothing to do with the movie. It was just, it took me a long time to see because I got spoiled.
Screw those people.
The movie.
Yeah, right. That sucks.
And then it made me bitter towards the movie, and then I was like, you know what? Let me just watch it. It's such a good movie. It's so good. Yes, it has to be on here.
JDH, what do you say about Big Hero 6?
Really like Big Hero 6. I have it in the top 20 on mine. It's not quite in the top 12 for me, so I'm going to give it a slight no with regret.
Zedius, what do you say about Big Hero 6?
It might have been a spoiler earlier for me, but I like this movie so much, and this is one of those movies that I can gladly say I believe it would be in my top. It's in my top 12 of animated movie, and hell, definitely Marvel movies. Like I like this movie that much, so it's a yes for me.
I enjoy Big Hero 6. I do think it's fine. I'm giving it a slight no, not that it matters anything because it's made the list. But yeah, there are just some other ones which I've looked in there that I'm worried it probably won't make the list. But anyway, Big Hero 6 makes this list. Haley, we go to you for your next nomination.
Before I even point out my nomination, I just want to say that the private chat out of context is hilarious because you see the last 3 movies together. Frozen 2, Sausage Party, Big Hero 6. Very different movies.
Quite a lean movie night.
How on the same list. And so this is the last movie on my very immediate list of like, get this on here. And that is the movie my nephew made me watch, and I was kind of just like, okay, just whatever will keep you quiet, whatever will keep you happy. And then I was more obsessed with the movie than he was. And that is the Lego Batman movie. This was just so much fun. It's such a fun movie, and it's not as like deep as the Lego movie, but it's just a delight. I love it.
JDH, Lego Batman is on the list. What do you say about it?
I was actually going to nominate this movie next. I absolutely love this movie. It's kind of weird because the Lego Batman movie kind of understood Batman more than most Batman movies, which is kind of crazy and sad all at once. Dealing with how Bruce handled the relationship of not wanting people that he loved around him was always something that I never felt was addressed all that much in the actual movies. And I think they capitalized on it great in this one. Well, all around being an incredibly funny, entertaining movie with great songs and all that. So yeah, it's an easy yes for me.
ZDS, what do you say about the Lego Batman movie?
There's only one time that I like the character of the Joker more in the Batman movie, and that I'm sorry, in a movie, a Batman movie, and that was in The Dark Knight. And I thought Zach Galifianakis killed this role, and Will Arnett is he was hilarious in the Lego movie, and Lego Batman movie is a great movie too. So it's a yeah for me.
Yeah, so Lego Batman movie does make the list. I actually would have said no. I do love Lego Batman movie. There's just some other movies that haven't come up yet, which I think deserve to be on here as well. Now I'm kind of regretting going for my guilty pleasure of Sausage Party, but never mind.
You did it. You did this.
Oh no,
You
you can't want that one back.
No.
Robert,
Party,
what would you have said about Lego Batman movie?
I do. I agree a lot with what JTH was saying. That sequence where where Alfred goes through the entire history of Batman, talks about how like crazy he was or how he's dealt with his emotions over the course of 50 years, is hilarious. And there are parts of Lego Batman movie I absolutely so much more enjoy. I guess just because I'm a comic book movie type of fan almost first, and they play with the tropes of that so well. I mean, MacGuffin Airlines. Batman's gonna. He's like, "This is my dastardly plan. Aren't you scared?" No, because Batman will stop you. No, he won't. Well, he stopped you every time. That doesn't mean anything. Yeah, but he'll probably
The two boats.
Yeah, so like, I think it would have been kind of a soft yes, is what I'll say, because I would have felt weird about having two Lego movies on here, but I enjoy it greatly.
But JDH, it's on you. This could be potentially the final movie that makes the list. What are you going to bring up?
Well, this is going to be a guilty pleasure of mine, so I'm doubting that it will make the list. But let's go for it anyway. This is a spin-off movie that featuring a character that many people loved in the franchise that it first appeared in. And when it finally got its own spin-off movie, I loved the heck out of it. I saw it multiple times in the theaters. I'm going to go with Puss in Boots. This was an incredible story. The comedy was great. Antonio Banderas and Selma Hayek together again. What is there not to love? All the cat tropes, everything that just worked in it. We're talking about Zach Galifianakis as the Joker. Him as Humpty Alexander Dumpty in this is a absolute match made in heaven to counteract and contrast with Puss. And you get his backstory. You get why he turned into the character that he did. And it's just emotional beginning to end. So, yeah, I'm going to call it Puss in Boots.
Zedius, what do you say about Puss in Boots?
I'm gonna say no to Puss in Boots, only because the character Puss, he kind of reaches my Matt's level in Shrek 2, which I love in Shrek 2, but then after that, he just kind of got just a little maddening. So I'm gonna say no.
Yeah, this is one that when they announced that they were going to do a Puss in Boots spin-off movie, I thought, fine, let's see where they go. To me, watching this movie, it just kind of felt hollow without having any kind of appearance from Shrek or Donkey in it. Because to me, that's where Puss in Boots shined a lot in Shrek 2, is his interactions with Donkey most. And to not have him in this movie, I think, made it kind of not that great. I do enjoy this movie. I do think it's good. I'm just going to say no to it. Robert, what do you say about Puss in Boots?
Yeah, I've watched this movie one time and I laughed at it. I do like some of the themes of it. I do like the jokes, but I think Puss in Boots. I mean, that's like Puss in Boots is like the fairy tale or the character that I didn't get read a whole lot as a kid. It was just I knew of him because of what we talked about, like in school or whatever. I don't think he served to kind of lead his own movie per se. I think he's better necessarily, kind of as what you mentioned, Malcolm, as like a secondary, tertiary character that has relationships with some of the characters who are more thought about in Shrek and how they bounce off each other, as opposed to how he bounces off of Humpty Dumpty, which is good. I just think it can't be in the top 12 because of that. So I would say no as well.
And Haley, what would you have said about Puss in Boots?
I like to pretend that the Shrek franchise is only the first two movies.
Oh yeah,
that's all I
that third one is trash.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's really bad.
I mean, I'm one of those ones that I did enjoy the third one. The fourth one, to me, it's where it fell completely off.
Shrek Forever After, more like Shrek Never Again.
I mean,
Good.
do you see a Shrek 5? I mean, at this point, Shrek Forever After could be Never Again. So, with that, Zedius, it's on you.
I brought this movie up earlier. If it doesn't make the list, I'm not really selling it well. But if it doesn't make the list, I'll be fine. But is this one of those movies that, say it with me, call me by surprise? But because I like the first one, but when I saw Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet, I'm not even sure that's the correct title. Ralph Breaks the Internet. Let's say that. I thought this movie was 100% great, and it made me realize that Ralph is a bit of a dick. Like, I do not like Ralph at points. He comes around, and yes, he learns his lesson, but dude, like, how idiotic are you? And Penelope is still great. The scene with her and the princess, and I know I saw it on like the previews and stuff, but that felt like only a taste of what we actually got in the movie, which I just thought was hilarious. And I like Ralph Breaks the Internet more than I like the first one, and I got at least nominated.
What? Ralph Breaks the Internet is good. I'm saying no to it just because there's one there that I really want, and I'm coming up next to nominate, so I'm saying no. Robert, what do you say about Ralph Breaks the Internet?
I like this movie. I only have watched it the one time. They try to tackle kind of like the Emoji Movie did, what it would be like to be in the internet, but it was really just kind of like a Disney, we're going to throw all of our advertising of Disney stuff at you. And I don't really think it was super representative of what the internet is like, especially if you're an adult, because they couldn't do that in a kid's movie. So I feel like there's a disconnect between kind of the reality of what that world is like and how it was portrayed in it. And I just like the first Wreck-It Ralph a lot better. It's already on the list, so I would say no.
Haley, what do you say about Ralph Breaks the Internet?
Okay, so fun fact, I saw this for the first time the same exact day I saw the Lego Batman movie for the first time. It was another movie my nephew made me watch. I didn't think it was going to be good. I did enjoy it, but I'm going to say it again. I agree with Rob. You can't get anywhere deeper than surface level when you're doing an animated kids movie, when you're tackling something like the internet. And I think it was a little too ambitious, and it ended up being more cash grabby than it was really meaningful. It was a good movie, but I don't think it belongs on this list, unfortunately.
JTH, what would you have said about Ralph Breaks the Internet?
It's weird because based on Zedius' first minute of his pitch, it almost sounded like he was pitching why it's one of the worst movies in the 2010s. That's a total hit. This movie stinks. Then he's like, oh, it's for best anime. Oh, okay. But Yeah, it makes me seem like I like the movie more than he does, but I didn't bring it up because I felt the consensus was kind of clear that I didn't think that it was universally as loved as the first one. I liked that my consensus was proven correct, but I liked it. Probably not enough to make the list, but I did enjoy it.
Uh, but with that, it's on me, and I'm conflicted because I've got four that I'm thinking of: one Ghibli, one Leica, one Netflix, and one DreamWorks. So I'm going to go for the Netflix movie because I don't want Tony Hill to take me out of the team match tomorrow on FPTL. And I'm bringing up Klaus. Klaus is one of those movies which I didn't know what to think when it came out. I watched it. It is amazing. J.K. Simmons plays a Santa Claus. This is when I know. I think it's Tony that's been championing everyone to watch it, and as soon as everyone watches it, they're becoming addicted to it very slowly. But Robert, what do you say about Klaus?
Man, you really sold that really well, Malcolm. I gotta tell you, you should pitch movies for like a living or something. I'm telling you. So I've watched a lot of animated Santa movies, like Rise of the Guardians and stuff. And I guess I just like Arthur Christmas and the like. So I guess I just kind of got Christmased out from animated movies. So I actually haven't seen this one, so I have to tap on this one. I don't have an opinion.
Haley, what do you say about Klaus?
I meant to watch this around the holidays, and then they just never did. That's all I gotta say.
JDH, what do you say about Klaus?
Yeah, unfortunately for me, I just got Netflix very recently, so I have not delved very far into the Netflix archives to even knew this movie even existed. So I'm going to have obvious no as well.
Zedius, what do you say about Klaus?
Guys, I can't believe y'all are doing this again to Malcolm, like because y'all haven't seen another movie that Malcolm hasn't seen. We're breaking his heart. And with that being said, neither have I. So I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, but
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to stay home.
Yeah, I feel bad, Malcolm. You know, you're throwing out gems. I assume they're gems, and you haven't mined them yet.
One of the movies you almost mentioned, I vowed to watch this weekend.
I mean, if you hear any crying from the United Kingdom, that's probably Tony's like, damn it.
We'll put it on my list to watch, though. I will say that.
But anyway, Robert, it's on you. What movie are you going to bring up?
Oh man, there's a couple in here. I wish you mentioned the Leica movie, Malcolm. I wish I had seen it, and I feel bad that I haven't, because that's probably what I would nominate based on consensus. So what I'll do is I'll do one here a little bit outside the norm, I bet. Interesting that I say norm, because I'm going to go with a stop animation movie that Tim Burton inspired, and it's one that really, again, it deals with the idea of you're different, but is that really a bad thing? Even if the world's telling you that you're different, you can still make a difference with that, and that's cool. I'm going to throw out Paranorman.
For the record, when you said out of the norm, I thought you were getting ready to say Norm of the North. I was like,
So did I.
A little bit outside this range, right?
I was going to say abort.
Although this movie does have Norm in it, so
yeah, that's why I said it.
Haley, what do you say about Paranorman?
So this movie has one of my favorite, just little bits of comedy, and it was just the moment towards the end where Norman's sister is like, "Hey, would you like to go on a movie? Like, would you like to see a movie sometime or something?" And he was like, "Yeah, my boyfriend and I would love to come." And she's just like, "What?"
Yeah.
I just think that was so great and so funny, and there's just so many little bits that are just so great, and there's still some Leica movie. There's a couple Leica movies, more recent ones, I think Missing Link and Box Trolls I still haven't seen, but I haven't seen a Leica movie that I don't like. So but at the same time, there's a movie I'm waiting for, and I'm hoping I can convince y'all to pick it. I'm gonna say no, and if anyone else says yes for this movie, I agree.
JTH, what do you say about Paranorman?
I've seen this movie a couple times. It's just not my style of movie. I just can't get into it. Anybody that does enjoy it, that's great. It doesn't click with me, so I'm going to give it a no.
Zedius?
Well, Malcolm, you can breathe a little sigh of relief because it's not just your movies that you nominate that I haven't seen before. This is another one that I have not watched. Sorry, man.
Get it.
As revenge on Robert for not watching Klaus, I've not seen Paranorman.
That's fine. It's fine. You can go ahead, man.
But Haley, what is the movie you're alluding to?
So I'm really shocked not a single movie from this franchise is on this list because I've seen this just as claimed to be just an objectively great franchise, and the fact that not a single movie is on it is on here is criminal to me. But now it's just which one do I pick? And I think I haven't seen the third one, so I'm just gonna pick the first one, and that's How to Train Your Dragon.
So, yeah, sorry.
The fact that this is the last one being picked is kind of appalling, but it's still hopefully is gonna make it. Another beautiful movie, and something that's both equally just fulfilling to watch as a kid or as an adult. And it's so good. This is just such a good franchise, and it needed to be on here.
JDH, what do you say about How to Train Your Dragon?
This is tough because I've seen all three. I like all three, and unfortunately, I like all three at the same level that none of them really stand out from the others. That's what makes this kind of tough. If we were going to put any of them on here, I wouldn't mind the first one getting on because obviously it sets up all these characters and sets up a world that you always want to go back to every time it comes on. So I will give it a yes.
Zedius, what do you say about How to Train Your Dragon?
If Haley hadn't nominated, I was about to. So like it's a definite yes, and for me, and I'm going to talk to the kids, any kids that are watching this. If you get teased for not being what other people expect you to be, I want you to find what you're good at, and then once you find that, you stun on hoes. Like you stun on all of them. You just show off. Once you find your specialty, because that's exactly what Hiccup. Oh Jesus Christ, Hiccup did. So yes, I'll say How to Train Your Dragon 1.
Interestingly, Paranorman, same idea. I'm just saying.
Really? It's on my list. It's Klaus and Paranorman.
But yeah, this was the DreamWorks one that I was alluding to when I said I had 4 movies that I wanted to bring up. And so I'm glad it come around to this actually coming up because I don't want to get angry messages from Nico, the Cosmic Night Fury, Bergoli, about the fact that I let this one slide. But yeah, it's the easiest for me. Robert, what do you say about How to Train Your Dragon?
I haven't seen the third one either. I do, of the two I have seen, it is the one I like the most just because it sets the tone. And as you've probably heard on the internet, it's the best boy and his dog movie, even though the dog is a dragon. Especially from the last decade. So I have no issues with this. I probably would have said a soft no, but it doesn't mean that it's bad and it doesn't deserve to be on the list.
But with that, we have come to the end of this. It was just a long period between Lego Batman and How to Train Your Dragon for something to actually make it on to finish it off. But with that, the 12 movies that made it, we got Lego Batman, Spider-Verse, How to Train Your Dragon, Coco, the Lego Movie, Toy Story 3, Wreck-It Ralph, Moana, Inside Out, Frozen 2, Big Hero 6, and of course, Sausage Party, of course.
No, that where we go.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just had to get up real quick, get my whiteboard.
Oh, okay, I was supposed to say no.
Yeah.
Go.
But with that, we get to the fun part, which is ranking it. So
My board's upset.
going to write down what we want for number 12 on our whiteboards. But yeah. But Haley, what do you have for number 12?
Paranorman should replace this movie, and this is my Sausage Party.
Yeah.
JDH.
It's the poof with all the gems involved. It's a Sausage Party.
Zedius.
Sausage Party, I would like to congratulate you for even making this list. You're just shockingly, you're just a shocking movie, but it's definitely Sausage Party. I think that was so easy.
I had Big Hero 6.
Oh my god!
I love it. Oh man! Even though I agreed to have this movie on here, it is clearly the worst. It is clearly the turd in the proverbial punch bowl. Sausage Party.
All right, Sausage, you had your 5 seconds now.
I mean, when this made the list, I had the feeling it's probably going to be a trail. But with that, we move on to 11. Right. But while we're doing this, I'm actually going to bring out some honorable mentions that I had and go around the board because I realised I didn't do this now. Other ones that I did feel should have been on here as well that I would have brought up. The Wind Rises, The Tale of the Princess Kaguya, and Ariete, all from Ghibli.
Yeah.
Kubo and the Two Strings is the Leica movie I was talking about.
Yeah.
Frozen, After Christmas. Tintin is a underrated anime movie, which I was.
That's what I heard.
Toy Story 4 is fun, and Tangled.
Yeah.
And also, 10 Times Go to the Movies is not that bad. Did you have any honorable mentions, Robert?
You had a lot of them. I will say Hotel Transylvania. Despicable Me. When Haley was talking about entries in the franchise, I thought she was talking about Despicable Me, not How to Train Your Dragon, because I wasn't thinking about that. And then there's some other Ernest and Celestine is kind of a off the radar one, and those are the main ones that I had that haven't already been mentioned.
Haley, did you have any honorable mentions?
Tangled. What was I going to say? Hotel Transylvania. That's such a good movie. And the movie that I swore to watch this weekend just so I can say, hey, this belongs on the list because I know I'm gonna love it when I see it, is Ariete. I'm probably gonna watch it tomorrow. It just looks so pretty, and I just love Ghibli.
JDH, is any honorable mentions?
I was going to say Kubo next. I'm a sucker for My Little Pony, so the My Little Pony movie, to me, I enjoyed. I'm sure Zedius was expecting that at some point. And another one that's also based on a TV show, I don't know if it would have counted or not, but I would have went with Pokemon, The Power of Us movie that came out a couple years ago. I'm a real big fan of that one.
And Zedius, any honorable mentions?
Oh yeah, for me, I had Toy Story 4. I think it was, even though I think Toy Story 3 was definitely the perfect ending, I wasn't mad about Toy Story 4's ending. Again, I liked it a lot. Tango was another one for me. And also another movie that was very surprising, so I wouldn't be surprised if I made it to the list. Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Yeah.
That was a surprisingly very good movie. Because I wasn't a fan of that Teen Titans Go, but this was a great movie.
But yeah, and some that have come up in the chat, Rise of the Guardians, Smallfoot,
Yeah.
SpongeBob, Sponge Out of Water.
Okay.
Woo.
Great.
And then, yeah, I mean the most recent SpongeBob movie was better than, but the original one was the best. But with that, JDH, what do you have for 11?
I only saw it once, but it's still better than that crap down there, Coco.
Zedius.
I put Wreck-It Ralph.
I've still got Big Hero 6. Robert.
Other nominations by Book of Life, Frank and Weenie. Forgot about those too. I said Frozen 2.
I went with my faction mate, Frozen 2. If I hear Into the Unknown one more time, I'm going to throw my head through a brick wall.
Yes.
Just let it go, right?
No, can't.
It's a shame that you had to do the honorable mentions then, because then we had to see Sausage Party down there for like 5 minutes. And
Yep.
that's more than that movie.
I think we did it on purpose,
Travesty.
frankly.
Oh, that
Brittany
was
gets so
part of your
much. Brittany gets so much hate for that movie. Be on this
Yeah.
list. I'm here for it though.
I'm here for it too. It was out of the box, and I like it.
You like that Woody's Farewell for sausage and buns?
I will appreciate the audacity for wanting to put it on the list. But Paranorman should have been there.
I mean, there's always at least one that people have. Somehow, there's always seems to be one that people stake their claim and yell at us in the comments a lot about being on here. But
This
that
time they're
is-
right now.
I mean, I don't disagree. I brought it up because I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was going to make the list.
Well, there's your first mistake. Never underestimate your
Yeah.
channels.
No,
Yeah,
no,
right.
Never underestimate your sausage. But
Yep.
anyway, yes.
I'm gonna
What do
stick.
you have for Ted?
I'm gonna stick with Wreck-It Ralph.
I'm thinking of Big 06. Robert.
I said How to Train Your Dragon.
Haley.
I'm changing it last minute because my brain just decided to go crazy. I was going to say Big Hero 6, but then I changed it. Wreck-It Ralph.
And I stuck with Coco.
But Wreck-It Ralph is going to be.
Why am I still going upside down?
And my brain's gone crazy because I was almost about to make a pattern 12, 11, then 12 again.
Yeah.
You got sausages on the brain, my friend.
I will have to say the rest of these movies are all absolutely amazing, and I love all of them, so this is going to get hard.
But yeah, I mean, I've still got Big Hero 6. Robert,
And I still have How to Train Your Dragon.
Haley,
And here's where I do the Big Hero switcheroo.
JDH,
Still have Coco.
and Zedius.
I actually had Inside Out.
Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6 is going to be 9. Ooh.
Keep it.
1, 2, 1, 2. I changed it, and I'm gonna have it.
But with that, Robert, what do you have for 8?
I still have How to Train Your Dragon. And I guess I'll die on this hill.
Haley,
I put Inside Out reluctantly.
JDH,
Still have Coco.
Zedius.
I'm glad I stuck to my guns because I still have Inside Out. I almost changed it, but
I'm going to make it interesting. I've got Coco. Which means, Robert, you didn't pick one of those two.
I
Coco,
didn't.
Inside Out.
Inside Out.
Which means Inside Out is going to be number 8. But I'm not too upset about because I do like Coco. I just like Inside Out a little bit more.
Understand.
But with that, Haley, what do you have for 7?
I put the one that I put on here, Lego Batman.
JTH,
Still have Coco.
Zedius,
because this is my personal apology to Robert for not seeing Paranorman. Again, it is on Netflix, so I will see it. How to Train Your Dragon.
I've got Coco.
Hooray! Because I still have How to Train Your Dragon.
Yeah.
Haley, Haley, How to Train Your Dragon or Coco?
It is so disrespectful that y'all are trying to put Coco up so low on the list, but so I'm gonna go with How to Train Your Dragon.
You're making my night of
I
ranking
like how that
very
whole
easy.
panel with all the movies I picked, though. That's kind of hilarious.
This is a list we're crafting. It's
Right?
it's something.
Still just
I appreciate Zaddy's.
on here. Oh my god.
I appreciate Zaddy's doing something to appease me. Thank you, Z. I appreciate it.
But just to recap, we've got Lego Batman, Spider-Verse, Coco, Lego Movie, Toy Story 3, and Moana left. Robert, what do you have for 6?
Lego Batman.
Haley,
Lego Batman.
JH,
Just in case you forgot what I put, I wrote it bigger. Coco.
Zedius.
I consider myself a businessman, and I'm in the business of paying back favors. So Lego Batman.
Yeah, and
Make this thing bigger.
I mean, Lego Batman is going to be 6 anyway because 3 people already have it. But I made a mistake. I changed from Coco to Lego Batman because I forgot Coco didn't make it on. Once again, it wouldn't have really mattered as Lego Batman would have made the list at 6 anyway.
How to Train Your Dragon's already out. Okay, yeah, I'm just making sure. How to Train Your Dragon's
We're in the
already
top 5 now, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Top 5.
No, that's not right. I'm good. Okay.
I don't want it to be Coco.
Zedius, what do you have for 5?
Because it's been nominated so many times before, I know it's going to be nominated at least one time again, but it won't be by me. I put the Lego Movie.
I got Coco. Robert.
Me and Z just apparently aligning, just synchronicity. Lego Movie.
Haley. What was that again, Haley? You kind of cut out. I can't actually hear
Okay.
you. Yeah.
I can't hear anything. Oh no.
Oh no.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can't hear anything.
We can hear you. Yeah.
Did she write down?
Okay, you can hear me. Oh, great.
Live shows, people. What happens?
I like that you're building the suspense for the one that I picked.
That's all good. But what did you have for 5? What was your vote for 5?
Sounds like she still can't hear us.
Oh, my vote for 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the Lego Movie? I had it written down and then I erased it.
Oh, yeah. It's all good. I trust you. I just didn't hear what you said because you cut out as you about to say the movie. So yeah.
That's suspenseful. I love it.
But yeah, 3 people had the Lego Movie. So
Wait, don't you want to see what I put?
nothing other than Coco.
Maybe.
Show us if you want.
He just wants his vote to count. You know?
But yeah, so left we've got Spider-Verse, Coco, and Toy Story 3 and Moana. So for 4, I've still got Coco. Robert.
I have Toy Story 3, actually.
Haley.
I have Moana.
JDH.
I wrote it even more bigger. Coco.
Block letters.
Zeddy.
What did I ever do to you?
You had a good run, and I'm proud to see you at number 4. I'm proud to see you, but I just want to see what he says next. So I'm gonna put Coco.
My God, I couldn't write it any bigger.
We just want GTH to have a different vote because we want to know what's coming next. So.
I'm probably with Coco being in the top 5.
Yeah, it's good.
This is just where every single vote becomes painful.
Yeah. I'm so stuck between. Ah, man.
Uh,
Okay.
for 3, Robert, what do you have?
Still, Toy Story 3.
Haley,
I just kept Moana.
JDH,
I have Spider Verse.
Zedius.
She wanted to see how far she could go, and number 3, Moana.
Yeah, Moana is what I have for 3 as well. So Moana is going to be 3. And now this time, instead of one down your number 2, we're going to go straight to number 1 because the other one becomes 2 by default. And it's between Spider-Verse and Toy Story 3. But Haley, what is your number 1?
Again, I said this is a perfect movie, so I'm putting it Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse.
JTH,
Toy Story 3.
Zedius.
This is one of those moments where I'll be happy with either one of these being number 1 and number 2. But just for sheer emotion alone, I put Toy Story 3.
Ooh.
I couldn't be bothered writing the full title. I put Spider-Verse. Robert.
Wow, I like to be the deciding vote for something so important. It was obviously the first movie that brought up. I brought it up. Not that I'm selfish. I just think nowadays I get more utility from full-titled Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
You can't go wrong with it. You can't.
No.
It was so great. Was that 2018? Yeah, 2018 or yeah. So great.
But just to recap, the 12 at 12, I'm happy because we got Sausage Party there. At 11, we got Frozen 2. At 10, we got Wreck-It Ralph. At 9, we got BK06. At 8, we got Inside Out. At 7, we got How to Train Your Dragon. At 6, we got Lego Batman Movie. At 5, we got Lego Movie. At 4, we got Coco. At 3, we got Moana. At 2, we got Toy Story 3. And at number 1, we got Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. But all in all, it's a pretty good list. But I'll have a poll up in the Take 3 Facebook page with the options for next week. But Robert, where can people find you online?
I'm out on Facebook. I'm an old person, so I don't do a lot of social medias. But Facebook at Robert Kastner and all the trivia leagues have a podcast coming. We'll promote it a little bit more. Really love hanging out with you guys. Thanks for inviting me.
Haley, where can people find you online?
If you find me, you find me. Hi. Thanks for having me on here.
JDH, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Facebook whenever I actually comment on something, which is few and far between these days. You can find me on YouTube at JTH when I post things, which hasn't been for a very long time, and on Twitter when I ever tweet, which I never do. So, yeah, good luck finding me.
JDH, where can people find you online?
Y'all can find me on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram at Zadius Smith. That's ZA2Ds Smith. Be more specific on Twitter at @the_ZADD. And you can see me on Facebook doing trivia with multiplats, maybe other trivia leagues, TV Throwdown already. And tonight you can also you can find me doing movie and TV reviews on the Stardust app at Retribution Z. Last year I took the great task of watching 40 movies I had never seen before, and I gave a 30-second review to all of them. So go check them out. And tonight, please don't come to my house, but you will find me watching Paranorman on Netflix.
Yeah.
And you can find me all over on Full Metal, hosting Full Metal Classic and Full Metal Random. Full Metal Random this week is the IT crowd match with Joe Farrelly taking on Jay Burns, Richie Goodacre, and potentially Garth McMurray. I think he is going to be in that match. It's going to be either 3 or 4 of those people, but yeah. And you can find me on Tape 3 hosting Rankum every Saturday. Late night when it comes back, which may be in a couple of weeks, because this week is the draft for Schmodown. I do not want to go up against the Schmodown. You can find me doing the Reactor Summit this week, where we talk about the stuff that happened in the free agency special. But that, nothing much more I have to plug, because I'm on Facebook, Twitter, all over the place. But until next time, stay random, everybody. No, that is not the right catchphrase, but